Okay, students, so let's gonna continue with selection, with if else. Okay, so how is the selection? Okay, so you can follow as again the PDF that I posted on Blackboard. Okay, I'm gonna follow that exactly same order. Okay, but I would like to quote and talk. Much better to read the document. Okay, so what is the syntax for the selection for if else? Well, you will have to start typing if and something inside here the parentheses, the expression that you want to evaluate. After that, you will have to open curly braces. Okay, remember this is the syntax different at Python, different, maybe maybe a little similar than Bash shell. But if you know Java, for example, you know that this is pretty much the same thing that Java. Okay, here. Okay, so this is the syntax for the if. You have to type if, write the parentheses, and you're going to write a condition and expression that you're going to evaluate. If the expression here it's true, you're going to get inside the if. When I said inside the if, I mean inside the curly braces. Okay, good. So now, what happens if you want to evaluate something? A simple example. 1 is equal 1. Okay, PowerShell is not going to understand that. This is Java, this is Python. Okay, so what is the syntax? Remember that I told you equal to? Okay, let's gonna use equal to here. This is the correct syntax. Dash equal to. Okay, now what happened? If the expression here is true, you're gonna get into the if. Okay. Okay, so what can we do here? Well, we're gonna use the right host red and set yes. 1 is equal to 1. Okay. You can save. You can save your script. Okay. For example, you can set the extension for the PowerShell script are PS1. Okay. So you can put here if example one, whatever you want, and save. Okay. Just in case. If you wanna save. Yeah, for sure you wanna save, sorry. Okay, so let's gonna test. What is wrong? I don't see that. Hold on a second. Okay, it's here. Yes, 1 is equal to 1. If you wanna clear this area, the panel, you can use the clear console pane. Okay, so you can run that and you're gonna visualize much better. Yes, 1 is equal to 1. So 1 is equal to 1, yes, here. Okay, so this is the basic syntax for if, right? But also you can have else. Okay, what happened with else? So 1 equal to 2? No, right? So if the expression here is false, you are going to skip whatever is inside the if, and you're going to execute whatever you write in the else. Okay. Write host, sorry, write host. You are good in math, for example. Let's gonna run. You are good in math. Yes, you know that 1 is not equal to 2, so you display you are good in math. Okay, so this is the basic structure of the if else. Okay, so let's gonna do example. Okay, we're gonna do another example. Let's gonna we just warming up, and then we're gonna start. So I wanna just teach you the correct syntax so you remember that everything, and then when we did the lab, you are gonna feel comfortable. Okay, we're gonna start doing more interesting things in PowerShell in some minutes. Okay, so first, let's gonna declare a variable. Okay, the variable age, and we're gonna ask the user to provide his or her age. Okay, how can we gonna do that? Okay, instead of to type write host and then read host, let's gonna use the same thing that we did in Python. Remember, print and then input, and then what we did, input, right? Okay, it's gonna be the same thing. So instead of input, we're gonna type read host, and here tell the user, please enter your age. Okay, see that we are not using the write host, directly the read host. Okay, and we're going to store the result. We're going to store whatever the user type in the variable age. Okay, and here we can start the comparison, right, with the if what, if age, for example, it's greater than. How is the syntax for greater than? Dash GT. If age, for example, is greater than 30. Okay, yes, and there's something. What is gonna happen? Uh, let's gonna display a message. You are old. Okay, right? Pause. Okay. Otherwise, uh, we can type you are young. Okay, that's it. At the end of the if else, I would like to display what is the age of the user, because I don't want to write here and here. Let me write the program. I'm going to explain you much better. So enter your age, 44. You are old. I want to run again. Enter your age, 29. You are young. Okay, the if else work. But I would like to display, for example, at the end, you are whatever years old. Okay, so you can write here, write host, sorry. You are the variable age, years old, right? And also, if the user is less than 30, I would like to display that. Enter your age, 28. You are young, you are 28 years old. But I see we are repeating the same message, right? So instead of to repeating the same message, because even though the user is greater than 30 or less than 30 years old, you want to display this message. So let's gonna remove that. And instead of writing inside the if, let's gonna type there, okay? Tell your age, 34, you are years old. You are 34 years old. Okay, this is just a simple example of the if. Okay. Now, I would like to teach you loops. Okay. Let me see. How long is the video? Yes, in one video, I'm gonna teach you if and for loops. Okay. Now, let's gonna teach you for loops. How is the syntax for loops? Save. For example, here you can type whatever you want to save and then save. Okay, let me click another one. Okay, let me teach you for loops. And there are many ways to code a for loop, but in PowerShell, I like to use this syntax: for parentheses, curly braces. Okay, for parentheses, curly braces. What do we have to write inside the curly braces? The condition that help us to run the for loop, how many times we want to run the for loop, how we're going to increment the for loop, all the conditions here. Okay, so what is the syntax? Like this. Declare a variable at the beginning. For example, I. Remember that I use in bash shell for I int dot one dot 10, for example. Okay. Now that's or in Python we use the same thing, right? For I int curly braces 1 dot 10, for example. Okay. Now, how is the syntax here in PowerShell? For I, and you initialize this variable, for example, to 0. Okay, so the first parameter inside the parentheses is initialize the variable. Then semicolon, no colon, semicolon. Okay, and then what is that? The next parameter is the expression that you are going to evaluate. Okay, so you're going to evaluate always I, the variable I that is here at the beginning. So what you're gonna do with I? So if I is less than, how can I write less than? Dash LT. So if I is less than 5, for example, okay, you are gonna run the loop. So at the beginning, what is the initial value of I? 0. Okay. So when the for loop run, the first time it initialize I to 0. And then evaluate the expression here. What is the value of $I? 0. 0 is less than 5, true. If the expression is true, you're gonna be inside the loop. So let's gonna print here something. Hi. Okay, again, if the expression here is true, 0 is less than 5, If that is true, you print right host. You print high, sorry, right host, you're gonna print high. Then what happened? You're gonna repeat the loop. And when you're gonna repeat the loop, there is another expression here. That is the incrementation for the variable. For example, I++. What's mean I++? Remember, I equal I plus 1. This is I++. Got it? Okay. So again, now let's gonna do a quick recap now because I add another parameter. There are only 3 parameters. There could be more, yes, but this is the simple for loop. Okay. So how the for loop run? Like this. The first time that the for loop runs, initialize the variable I to 0. Only one time. Okay. I equals 0. You can initialize equal to 1, to 2, to 3, whatever you want. In this case, I initialize to 0. Okay. For $I equals 0. Okay. So you assign 0 to the variable I. What is next? Evaluate the expression. The expression here. What is the value of I now the first time? 0. 0 is less than 5? Yes, true. If that is true, you are gonna get into the for loop. Okay, what do we have inside the for loop? What do we have inside the curly braces? This command, right host high. So you're gonna print high. Then what happened? End of the for loop. What is next? Evaluate the expression again. As you see, we are not gonna execute the first part, only the first time. Now we're gonna evaluate the expression again. So now, what is the value of I? Every time that you run the for loop, you're going to increment by 1 the value of I. So the first time is 0. 0 less than 5, true. You display high. End of the for loop, what is next? Increment the variable of I. So I at the beginning was 0. Now I is going to be 1, correct? Good. Now, evaluate the expression. 1 is less than 5, true. Execute. You print height. End of the for loop. Evaluate the expression. Okay, and continue and continue. So again, let's gonna do here. We're gonna write here output. Right. Okay. So when the for loop start running, I is 0. Okay. Then what happened? Then what happened? You evaluate the expression here. 0 is less than 5, true. What we're gonna do? We're gonna print high. Correct? End of the for loop. Now, what we're gonna do? End of the for loop, increment I by 1. So what is the value of I now? 1. Okay, 1. Now, what is next? Evaluate the expression. 1 is less than equal 5, true. You're gonna get into the loop, you're gonna print high. So there is another high there. Correct? Okay, then end of the loop. What is next? Increment I by 1. So what is the new value of I? 2. Now evaluate the expression. 2 is less than 5, true. So if that is true, we're going to print high. Okay. End of the for loop. What is next? Increment I by 1. I nice 3. Now evaluate the expression. 3 is less than 5. True. Okay. Print high. End of the for loop. What is next? Increment I by 1. 4. Now what is next? Evaluate the expression. 4 less than equal 5. True. You're going to print high. End of the for loop. What is next? Increment by 1. Now evaluate the expression. 5 is less than 5. False. That's it. So how many times we run the loop? Here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times. Okay? As you see, the loop stops when we reach the value of 5. Okay? So this is how the for loop works here in Python. Okay? So let's gonna modify this output. So write host high, but you wanna display also the variable I. So how can we gonna do that? It's using $I. It's gonna run high 0, high 1, high 2, high 3, high 4. Okay, but if you wanna modify the value instead of high 0, start displaying high 1, what do we have to do? We need to increment here the value of the variable I, right? So one approach is to open parentheses there, okay, and +1. Yes, high here. See that? So this is the string high concatenated with the result of the mathematical operation here. Whatever you have in one, oops, my battery, whatever you want to have in $I +1. Okay, so let's gonna run. Oops, what is that? This is run. See that? We were able to increment the value of I by 1. Okay, so now you have a good understanding about selection, if, and for loop. You know how the syntax is in PowerShell. So let's gonna start doing more labs. Let's gonna start doing a little bit about function as well. I'm gonna stop this video and proceed to record another one. Thank you.